Yeah, welcome everybody to the World of Ability Pod Network. My name is Emily Gilmer here, and we're excited to bring you another episode of the World of Nutrition with Marilyn Lamer out of the lovely state of Hawaii. And we have a couple of great guests today on health and nutrition, health, wellness, and so on. But I'm going to bring Marilyn in here to get us kicked off. So, hey, Marilyn.
Hello, Emily.
Welcome.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right. Welcome to the World of Nutrition podcast, and this is Nutrition for Your Body, Mind, and Soul. Today we have two fantastic guests who I'm really thrilled to hear from. First up, we have Dania Baayoun, and she is a founder of Fierce Muse Coaching, where empowerment, creativity, and transformation coverage for ambitious professional women, particularly those grappling with imposter syndrome and silently wrestling with self doubt and confidence issues. Danya meets her clients where they're at in their journey, weaving a narrative coaching and positive psychology into her sessions. Her toolbox is diverse, incorporating NLP, breathwork, meditation, mindfulness, linguistics, polyvagal theory, and trauma-informed coaching. Her transformational session, her transformation her transformative sessions are complemented by post-session homework learning lab, which is crucial for applying newfound insights to daily life. Her journey has been eclectic, from managing a law firm to heading a flourishing floral design and event business, before finding her true calling, coaching. With a background in psychology, a graduate degree, and certifications as both a professional and executive coach, she seamlessly channels her innate ability to connect with people into translating their visions and helping them see their potential. Danya, thank you so much for being here. Tell us a little bit more about you and what you do.
Thank you, Marilyn, for having me. I'm very excited. Your smile is so bright; it's just shining straight from Hawaii to the screen, through the screen to LA. I'm very happy to be here. It's great, I think, to share how we all perceive what we do as part of health and wellness. So yes, my journey to coaching has been circuitous, from managing a law firm to owning a design boutique, and to kind of in the pandemic. Realizing, since there weren't any more events, to do something else. And this pause that we all got to experience during the pandemic gave me time to reflect, as well as all of us, about how, I could be better, and who else I can be other than just a designer. And this is kind of where coaching comes in. I'm sure every coach would tell you coaching chooses you, you don't choose it. That's a calling that has probably been always in the back of my mind, and now it has a name, and that's kind of what I feel privileged to do.
That's so beautiful. And so during the pandemic, that's when you decided to just dive into coaching more. Is that?
I did. I believe that when I was working managing the law firm, it was a kind of coaching. I'm not an attorney, but I was managing the back of house, and then the client's expectations and billing and their relationships with, all the other staff and whatnot. So there was some coaching there just to help them be heard and feel like they understand the process, and where their part in it is. And really the same when I moved on to design, because it's the same thing. The client in the law, they're coming at you at the worst time in their lives. In an event, they're extremely happy. They're getting married, or they're having a corporate event, or they're decorating their home, but it's also stressful. So it's another kind of coaching to take their vision, the feeling, what they'd like to do, and translate that. And then during the pandemic, yes, I went back to school and got certified. And because it's kind of what I love to do, that getting that rapport, that one-on-one time, that sacred space between coach and client, where there's enough room for you to just come undone if that's what needs to happen, and for you to come to some certain realizations about your potential. And the coach's job is merely to help you from where you are now to build a bridge to where you deserve to be, where you ought to be.
I love that. I love when you said come undone, because sometimes we need to unlearn what we learned, right? And just start new again. So I love that. So this is the world of nutrition, nutrition for your body, mind, and soul. Please tell us how what you do incorporates into, your body, mind, or soul.
Um, I believe in coaching the entire person, a holistic approach, because we are all of these things. We are body, mind, soul, spirit, energy. So, what I do is I work with professional women, driven, ambitious women, usually in their mid 40s and beyond. And we work on building confidence from within. We work on understanding imposter syndrome, controlling the inner critic, and being able to find, craft, and embody the woman that this client aspires to be. And how it fits really nicely with what you do, Marilyn, what we're all here to share today is because very much like you go to the gym to work out so that your muscles stay in tip top shape. You do yoga so your mind is clear. You eat healthy so on a cellular level you are healthy. But this is the same thing, but it's for the woman within. It is building a strong relationship that you have with yourself on the inside, and it's trying to learn to be mindful and be present while these thoughts are coming at you from every which way, and building the resilience to be able to bounce back from your inner critic who thinks you're no good, you're worth nothing, you're never going to make it. So there's a lot of um, internal exercise, if you will, in building up the woman you wish to be so that she can lead. The ultimate aim of my entire coaching practice is for you to become, to ascend into your own fierce muse, your own really powerful, empowered muse, and you let her lead the decisions instead of having your inner critic or your wounds lead you, which I promise you, you don't want to go where they're taking you.
Mm, wow. So please tell us maybe something that you learned or helped with one of your most recent clients.
Um, this is something I do with a lot of my clients, and most recently, actually, just last week, a client and I were working on the definition of motivation and where does one, especially for women, because most of my work is concentrated with that, where does one lead oneself? And then sometimes you want to ascend to the next level, but something stops you. There is almost an inner glass ceiling, and it's not the one that perhaps society has put on us because we're all familiar with that. It's the one you have on the inside that your inner critic has put for you. So you want to do something, or you feel like, yes, I can probably ascend to this next level, but it stops you. So the work is the awareness of what that is, how to dismantle it, what are the tools to build it up. And one of the smallest things that can be used in the moment is I have like a 7-step process that I teach my clients right when you're about to make a decision and that decision has been hijacked by your inner critic, and it's like CPR for the decision because your highest self steps in and goes through these very small steps to stop and pause and breathe and kind of reorder the thoughts so you're able to make an empowered decision and then work through the obstacles so that you can crush your glass ceiling, and every woman can, should, and deserves to do that.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. That reminded me when you said motivation of one of my mentors talked about the difference between motivation and discipline. I
Mhm.
would love to hear your take on your discipline and motivation definitions, or how you help your clients to distinguish between the two.
That's a really great question. When you have something that is pushing you, because discipline, all of us want to be disciplined. Think of January 1st. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to do this. Come March 15th. Yeah, they're out the window. So discipline is a different kind of muscle, if you will, on the inside. There is something that is pushing you. And when you push something, there's friction. So there's a lot of effort in pushing something towards an end goal. Motivation is something that pulls you, your vision of who you wish to be, your vision of the life you deserve to have, of the woman you aspire to be. It's like a magnet. It attracts you, it pulls you. So when you're pulled, there isn't much effort in it. So you're able to get there with a lot less friction than being pushed. Well, you discipline yourself, if you will, to the finish line. At least that's my take on it.
I love it. And so tell me, like, when women work with you, do they work with you for a certain set of time, or is there month by month or a year process? I'm curious.
It's really broken into two pieces. So primarily, the first leg of the journey is a 6-week program called the Muse Method, and it's where we really dive into what is the inner critic, where does she come from, whose voice is this, what is imposter syndrome, then break down where these things came from in your childhood. So it really is not surface work; it's deep work. Hence, being trauma informed and having lots of tools, so we're able to pull something from here, something from there, even down to linguistics, quantum linguistics. The words you are using about yourself on the inside can be very damaging, and we're unaware of the hideous things we tell ourselves all the time. So the 6 weeks builds, if you will, your toolkit and shows you a plan. When these thoughts come about, when the imposter is on, when your inner critic puts on her heels and decides to run the show, what's your plan? What are we going to do to stop that? And upon finishing the 6 weeks, if they so choose, they can ascend to a longer program where we work on your fierce muse in all the aspects of your life, your spiritual life, you in relationships, you as a woman, how you want to be, what is the vision you see for yourself, and how do you plan to show up in the world. Now sometimes I will also do smaller things, let's say like a boot camp. It depends, but primarily I don't want to take my 6 weeks and crush it because you don't get the same thing. But sometimes we pick one item and we really go to town on it.
You mentioned a few times about imposter syndrome. For people who don't know what imposter syndrome is, what is your take? What is your definition?
Um, Imposter syndrome is the constant companion of every achiever, because if you did not care about the result, you wouldn't have this feeling of, oh my gosh, did I do it right? Did I fail? Did I not? So, imposter syndrome is just one of the threads of how our inner judge shows up. And your inner judge shows up as your inner critic, as body image issues, as shame, lack of gratitude. And one of them is imposter syndrome, where no matter what you do, no matter how well you perform, no matter what awards, what presentations you've nailed, whatever it is, the imposter says, but it was by luck. There was nothing to do with your effort. It just happened. It could have happened to somebody else. They picked you by mistake, or my favorite. Any moment now, they're gonna find out you're a fraud, and they're gonna come and take the degree, the corner office, the whatever it is. So it's a constant battle on the inside with an inner voice that dislikes everything about you. So, how are we going to show up shiny and bright in the world when this is your inner narrative?
I love that. Oh my gosh, shiny and bright. That is, I can see when people are working through themselves or working on themselves, they become lighter and brighter and shinier, right? And their eyes. Have you noticed that within your clients?
Absolutely. There is a literal glow to someone's face when the shift happens. And I all but live for that, because suddenly you realize better is possible. Suddenly you realize you're in charge, you have agency, you can become whomever you choose to be. And confidence is not innate, it is learned. And once you realize that and you're willing to do the work, because listen, nothing is for free, right? You have to put in the effort and the cost. And the cost is going deep into the wounds, the cost is time and stepping out of your comfort zone. But yes, you are shinier, newer, better, brighter, because you're realigning your energy, right? You're choosing how you're going to show up, where you're going to be brightest. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. That reminded me that Carla and I have been to a women's leadership event at different times. However, what I learned, and I'm sure Carla learned as well, is as women, we do not really know how to balance our feminine and our masculine energy. And that was an eye opener for me because I had been operating with my masculine energy pretty much my whole entire life, not realizing that if I could balance and find that beautiful synergy of my feminine and masculine, that magic happens. So I would love to hear how you recognize that and how you bring out more feminine energy or help your clients to balance that feminine.
Without a doubt, probably one of my single favorite subjects in the world. We are all a bit of both. Like there's a yin and yang. All of us have a little bit of both, and usually you're comfortable in one domain or the other. And that's not to say that you don't step into your masculine, which requires certain ways of being when things need to be followed in a certain way. But I think as women, we have been mistaken thinking that I could only be logical, analytical, whatnot, and use that paradigm and kind of push the other one to the side, really to our detriment. Because imagine your edge in the, in the boardroom, your edge in negotiations, your edge in any relationship. If you could speak both and you are able to kind of dive into the wondrous world of the feminine paradigm, where we source our validity from within, where you source your inspiration from kind of a layered approach, just a place where all of your senses are kind of open and feeling. It's so much richer. It's like HD when you've never seen it before. So that's how I see it. It's wonderful to operate in the expected male paradigm. But then imagine if you're able to bring the other one online, you would be really quite amazing.
Yes, please. I mean, if you're able to, I would love for you to share a couple of tips on what you do to help women bring out that feminine energy. I'm learning more about this every day because I'm like, okay, like so much male dominant energy, for over 40 years. And I'm like, now I want to tap in and hone in on my female energy.
Oh, that's beautiful. So one quick thing that kind of comes to mind is the word softening. And I don't want there to be any preconceived notions and anything feminine is weak, because it is absolutely the opposite. So when I say softening, there is a place and time where you just take some time to yourself and shut out all the other things and really pour all of your attention, just like you do on your Excel sheet or your children, or putting together your taxes, laser focused. But I want this laser focus to be on you, the absolute energy that's alive and whirling within you. And a softening is to soften your senses, to just open everything up, kind of like turning on channels in the radio, and listen. Listen for things you can hear, things you can touch, the breath you're breathing, what you can see, a softening. So, what you're doing is you're opening up your horizons as a human being, and you're inviting all of these things in. You would be surprised how, when you have all of your senses on and you're utterly, completely anchored in the woman that you are, there's almost like a magic. There is a grandeur in it, and you feel it. You sit a bit taller, you smile, you're bright, you feel like you tapped into some power. And I always tell my clients, it's like being able to wield a laser beam that you just found out you had, right? And it's pretty amazing because you realize you as a woman have a lot of power. But it starts in mindfulness, and instead of going outside, go within. Not on social media, not seeking validation, not likes, not filters. No, no, no. On the inside. Listen to the woman all the way on the inside and allow that softening so you can grow, because something rigid does not grow, Marilyn, right? But something that has kind of amorphous borders is able to grow in ways you probably can't conceive as we sit here today.
Wow. And what about journaling? Do you encourage your clients to journal?
For
Or
sure. And if you're so inclined, some people feel like they don't want to, and that's all right. But I feel like when you put your thoughts pen to paper, there is magic, because you suddenly own this thought and it doesn't own you. And you're able to go back in time and track your growth as you read. The thing I say is, please don't edit. Don't think of who's going to read it. Don't think, should I use this? Just put it on paper exactly as it is, right? So that you're able to see how you're growing and see where perhaps some of the spaces that need some of your attention are, as you kind of look at your thoughts and where they're going. And I always encourage that after meditation or sitting down and doing some light breath work, so that you're able to kind of hear within. And I always share all of my clients, I walk them through the Meet Your Muse meditation. And that's exactly the best time to journal for real after, is when you go on this almost hypnotic journey within and actually meet the woman you've always wanted to be. And when you come out of that, there's a lot of downloads, probably for the next week. So I tell them, please, first thing in the morning or before bed, actually listen what she's trying to tell you and put it on paper, because it's massive growth that happens. So,
That is beautiful. I love it so much. Yes.
here.
Please tell us, how can people find you?
Um, the best way is to reach me on LinkedIn, because that's kind of where a lot of my clients are. So it's LinkedIn at Dania Baayoun, and I believe I sent you. You can email me. I sent my Calendly link. You can book a time with me as well. And then I have put my 7 steps, the little kind of process that takes 3 minutes, and it's guaranteed to work. Just as a gift, there's nothing to sell. If people would love to learn it, just download it, learn it, internalize it, own it, so that the next time the thought comes about, you are prepared. And then if you'd like to reach out and work with me, I'm still running my Muse Method as individual one-on-one. I haven't kind of ascended to a program that's a group, but I will soon. And when I do, I'm going to have less time to spend one-on-one kind of a signature time with my clients. So if you'd like to reach out, it will be my privilege to help.
Thank you so much. Yes, and please get that 7 step gift that Dania so generously gifted to all of us. Any last words that you want to share with our listeners today?
I'd like to leave your listeners with a question. I would like them to ask themselves the following. Ask yourself, what would your decisions be? Where would your choices take you? What would your life look like if you let your fierce muse make the decisions instead of your inner critic? You'd be unstoppable.
That is so beautiful. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much for being
And
on.
thank
And
you.
yes, you're so welcome. And next, I would love to introduce our next guest, Dr. Carla Garjaca. She is the CEO and founder of Foundation Matters and Globally Brighter. She's a visionary leader dedicated to empowering individuals to thrive and reach their full potential via a foundational approach. With nearly 30 years of experience in educational psychology and a passion for holistic well being, Carla's mission is to provide transformative workshops and interventions that inspire others to embrace authenticity and live their best lives. Fluent in 3 languages and a prolific author of 4 books and 6 ebooks, Carla's accomplishments underscore her commitment to making a difference in the lives of students, parents, and the community. Her unwavering dedication and belief in the power of progress serve as a beacon of inspiration to all those she serves. Dr. Carla Garjaca, thank you so much for being on. Please tell us a little bit more about what you do.
Oh my, thank you so much. First, I'm so honored to be here with this beautiful friend. Love you so much. Thank you for inviting me. That's such an honor. Um, that's my passion. I've been in the educational field for almost 30 years now. So I just love, and the more I am in the field, the more I get intrigued about the mysteries of our mind, brain, and body, and all the complexities. So I like to be the detective of our brain. And my passion about, the brain led me to also investigate which I consider the first brain that we have in our bodies, which is our gut, right? So that's why I am one of the few nutritional psychologists in the country, because it's still a field that it's very unknown, and some people are still questioning whether do we have one brain or two brains, right? So it's very interesting, and it's a very challenging field, very complex, but I'm here, and that's why I'm always doing research, and I writing books, and just going and learning. A forever learner, I would say.
Yes, you are. And I'm constantly learning from you. So, this is the World of Nutrition podcast, nutrition for your body, mind, and soul. What what would you say ties into what our listeners would love to hear from you?
For me, nutrition is really the foundation of everything, because we take for granted that our brain needs nutrition, right? When we think about anxiety or depression or even headaches or whatever is happening in our head, we think it's only in our head. But if we really analyze, we need to nurture our brain. The brain needs water, nutrition, vitamins, minerals. It needs everything. For me, it's still very interesting that psychiatrists and psychologists are still not convinced that it's not all in your brain. Like, how are you nurturing your brain? There is so much data nowadays about the importance of nutrition. And that's why, for me, it's such an honor because the more we talk about it, the more, and people really realize, like, when you're anxious, you feel butterfly, or sometimes you have stomach ache, or, it really affects everything. If you're very stressed, some people eat a lot, some people don't eat at all, right? So there's always a connection. So I just don't understand why people don't think it's such an obvious, correlation. So if we want to take care of our mental health, we need to take care of our physical health and how we are nurturing our bodies. And I think nowadays, sometimes I do a lot of different lectures, and one last year I did one about food, and it was very interesting because people don't know what food is anymore, right? Because food is when you're nurturing your body. Are you really eating food? Are you nurtured? Because if you're just eating something just to get this kick and you're not really eating food, you're just eating whatever trash, right? You're not really, you're still going to have all those issues. So it's just my passion, and that's why I'm so, honored to be here.
Oh, thank you. That reminds me, I just recently went to a session with a frequency doctor who showed that there's different frequencies on the foods that we eat. So I would love for you to share a little bit more about that on what you know.
Yeah. Oh my God. And that's the beauty, because I just did an event, yes, 2 days ago, I think. I'm doing so many events, but it was about perfume, right? And we're talking about perfume. So the scents that we have are so synthetic nowadays, and it really affects our limbic system. So we have a machine that reads the energy, the frequency of your body, to see which organs are in lower frequency, and we combine with essential oils or with some herbs that your body needs to raise the frequency of your body. So it's very interesting that some of people needed cilantro, oregano, thyme, right, to raise depending on which organ. So we are basically, our organs are frequency. If all the organs are in the right frequency, right, we don't get sick. We were just, living a healthy, happy life. But each one of us, when we are stressed, some specific organs, it could be related to genetics, like my family, all of them have a lot of issues with thyroid cancer, and a lot of things. So I know my thyroid, due to genetics, I have to take a look at the frequency, and I know, when I get stressed, the thyroid, it really gets affected. So it's interesting how which essential oils or which food I can eat or I should not eat, right? Should avoid, like crabs is very terrible for thyroid if you have thyroid issues. So the more you study seafood, it's very interesting. You should really avoid if you have thyroid issues because it lowers the frequency. So if you really understand your body and understand that we can go frequency lower or upper, it's just, for me, it's so amazing how beautiful the frequency, and quantum physics, it's really teaching us a lot about that, right, when it comes to psychology, and of course what you guys are doing.
That is so beautiful. And I would love for you to share about the books that you've created, the ebooks, the regular books, and what's in the works because you are helping so many people out there.
Yeah. So last year I opened my nonprofit, which is called Foundation Matters. And it is based on the newest trend of medicine, which is foundational medicine. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. So we have the functional medicine, which is very individualized. So if you go to a functional doctor, which that's where I take my kids, since they were babies, it takes forever. It's a one-on-one thing. But more recent research, they were finding out through functional medicine that everybody needs a foundational medicine. It doesn't matter if Marilyn or me, or if you're man, boy, girl, we need some foundational skills. It's like building a house, right? You need a foundation. Every house, regardless if you're building an apartment building, a small office, or three gigantic house, you need a good foundation. Doesn't matter what, right? So and that's what happens with our bodies. We need a good foundation. And I dedicated some years to understand what were those foundation skills that leads to a healthy mental health state. And it became it ended up with 6 layers, right? And that's where I'm writing the books. Um, Whenever I do lectures, to really help and educate people about those 6 layers, and how we can empower ourselves at home. You don't need a doctor, you don't need a psychologist, you don't need anybody, you just need yourself to really understand. It's very easy. So the acronym is actually the name of all my retreats. When I talk about those 6 layers of foundation, is take a breath towards happiness. And the word breath is the acronym for the 6 layers. So the B, which is breathing, we don't breathe anymore. The way for us to raise our frequency, like breath work, is amazing. And if you combine that with essential oils, good ones, pure ones, right? We have to highlight that as well, because essential oils like rose essential oils, there are some amazing essential oils that just, helps you with the frequency. So breathing. So I do some ebooks on breath works, and then there are rest. Sleeping, most of us nowadays don't sleep well. And so I have some ebooks on, high sleep hygienes, what we can do before going to bed, and, what we should do to, why take melatonin is not the best. We have to really understand the frequency of your body during the sleep. So you detoxify your body to cleanse, and you regulate and can have a healthy new day. So, and then is eating nutritional foods so you can, nurture your body, soul, mind, everything. So we talk about that. So I have books on toxicity, all the brands that you can rely on, and why you should avoid other brands. So it's almost 100-page ebook on shampoos, conditioner, everything that you can find, and with all the brands that I did a research that you can buy, and it's a trustworthy brand. So those are the things that I do to educate a lot. And then on food as well, I did one only for parents on the brands that they can buy that are. So if you want to do a cake for your kid, don't put those sparkling things that are all color added. If you want to do it, I have a brand that use natural, like beet colors, or moringa, those kind of things, to make your cake look beautiful yet not unhealthy. So the other one, I stopped on eating on on the A for take a breath is active mind and body. So you need to exercise. So different ways of doing it, like yoga, walking, and how that can really enhance your mind and body. The T is being thankful. Gratitude is so important. And the last one, I think it's the most neglected one, hydration. Only 11% of our population drink enough water. So I recently just I did a lecture about hydration and electrolytes, the ones that are good and bad. and why our water, because if our brain is 2% dehydrated, we can already have the symptoms of depression, anxiety, memory fog. There's so much going on because you lack water. And some people just drink coffee and energy drinks, and the frequency of those, when you drink those, your body frequency just go really down. So I have those ebooks related to those areas. My recent one that I'm going to be publishing soon, it's on tapping. I don't know if you guys are familiar with emotional freedom technique. So I wrote a book for children. It's very, very cute. So Leo is going to go to a surfing competition. Leo is my teddy bear that represents my holistic school here in the island. So he's going to a surfing competition, and he has this friend who's going to teach him about tapping. Very cute story for kids. And I also wrote a book for parents to understand the science behind tapping and how it works, and how, when combined with essential oils, can really help you with any type of struggles that you have. Like, it's amazing how tapping has been successful during tests and research that we have been doing recently. And another one that I'm also publishing very soon, it's on my ABCD techniques, with teaching parents about emotional intelligence, all the steps. So A is acknowledgement, B being charged, C how to converse, communicate, and D how can we do differently. So it's a nice book. There's also a children's book that Leo teaches how to go through all the emotions. So yeah, I have been busy lately for sure, and that's my passion.
Oh my gosh, I love that so much. And please share, for people who are not familiar with EFT tapping, could you please share a little bit more about that?
Yes, so emotional freedom technique. So it's based on acupuncture points. So there are some points in our body so let me back up a little bit. Emotions should be energy emotions, right? Every time you feel something, you should feel it and let it flow, right? So even if you're angry, you have to feel your anger and let it go. Happiness, because we want to feel happy all the time. It's just impossible, right? So whenever we get those emotions stuck, and so I don't have time to feel angry right now, or I just, something very bad happened, and I'm gonna work and work and work and try to forget. That never happens. You don't forget. So I always tell, when I'm presenting and talking about EFT, whatever you are not able to express into words, your body will express into pain, right? And we can see, when we take some pictures of your frequency of your body, we see the energy stuck in your body, literally. It's just beautiful to see, like, those, like, so whenever we scan the body of a baby or a toddler happy, we see all the happiness, the light of happiness in all the body. When we see an adult feeling happy, it's just like sometimes half of the body, sometimes it's just a third of the body. We are not able to feel happy, like, as, because, and we see when children are angry, they are angry, right? They're really angry. When they're sad, they feel their feelings. And as we grow, we teach them not to feel, like, don't get angry, like, why are you crying, just don't cry. And we learn how to hold. Then the happiness cannot overflow in your entire body, because there's so much, or different energies is stuck. So the EFTs, basically, you're going to be tapping on some points of your body to let the energy flow. So it's very natural for you to start, and you really need to acknowledge how you are. I'm feeling angry. I'm very frustrated. If I'm mad at Marilyn, okay, I'm very mad at Marilyn, what she did to me today. You just need to acknowledge that, right? And sometimes you start crying, right? And that energy starts flowing, and sometimes you start saying things that you say, why am I saying that? Just say it, just let it go, and you help it flow away. And it's amazing how you just, wow, I feel lighter. And the essential oils, there are some essential oils that in my book, that I combined with specific energies, or specific feelings that will help you even more to raise the frequency and to help let it go. So that's just a very quick summary. I don't know if you guys were able to understand, but just like there's some specific points. So, and in my book, Leo the Bear is going, and there's a music for kids based on if you're happy and like so, and tap if you're feeling angry, you should tap. So we're using the same rhythm as that if you're happy and it, but we're teaching the points.
Love that.
Yes.
Yeah. And we'll just make it clear that Carla never gets mad at Marilyn.
Oh, yes. That's right. Never.
Just kidding. Please tell us, because something that came up too is we are all humans. We're all breathing. When you say that breath is important, I would love for you to dive a little bit deeper, because I think I understand what you mean. We're shallow breathers. Could you please expand on that?
Wow, that's the shallow breather. So that's one of the techniques I use a lot on my preschool. So I have this holistic preschool that I just opened. We teach a lot of our kids to see their bellies going up and down. So and hold the breath. So the square breathing, I think it's one of the easiest one. And it's it really helps with anxiety, panic attacks, and everything. So I do a lot of exercise with the square breathing or the 5-finger breathing, where we take longer breathing. So, and I connect that with an essential oil. And why I do that, the reason why, it's because we are activating our limbic system. It's like an exercise, what we just learned from our previous interview. You need to exercise your brain every day. So the more we breathe, you can do this. We do every day in my school, and I teach parents to do. It's just 5 minutes. Put a book on your belly. Do hold and then let it go longer, right? Always. So if you're breathing in for 4, hold for 4, breathe out for 8, right? Always double it, because you have to let it go, hold again, breathe in, hold, let it out for the double amount. And the reason why I combine essential oils, because for kids it's easier, because they have something that they can smell, they feel like, but when you are having a panic attack and you have your essential oil and you can just breathe or just see that you have it, automatic your limbic system is going to remind you, oh, you can breathe. So it's kind of a muscle, right? Because if you're going to try to breathe correctly during a panic attack or when you have an anxiety, it's not going to work. It's just train every day, and once the smell is close to you, it's like your body's going to automatically regulate it. So it's much, much easier. So I do the breathing and I do essential oils because sometimes it's the easiest trigger. Like the scent is the easiest, way to remember something, right? When you smell bread, takes you to your grandmother's house. I don't know, but that's the easiest and quickest way for you to activate your emotions or limbic system. So that's why I always like to connect with essential oils.
Yeah, thank you so much for explaining that. And please tell the listeners how they can find you.
Okay, so I am on Instagram, so I have my private, my personal page, which is Carla at Globally Brighter / Globally Brighter. I also have my Learn preschool page. You can find all the things there. On the Learn, you're gonna find all my books there too on the Learn page, and also on my personal page, which is gonna actually Globally Brighter. I'm gonna change to Carla Garjaca only. Within the next 2 months, because since I'm writing books and usually people just Google my name. And Garjak is not a very common last name, so I think it's easier just to put carlagarjaka.com. So I have the Learn, which is my school. You're going to have all the ebooks that I created based on the educational program I offer for parents. ebooks that very informational. And I have my Foundation Matters, our foundationmatters.org, which is our nonprofit page, where we offer retreats, we offer mindfulness hike and events for free or donation based. Our upcoming one is on May 18th, actually, here in Hawaii. If you guys want to join us, we're going to go through take a breath towards happiness and come to our retreat.
I love that so much. And please share some last words before we close out our podcast today. I would love to hear it.
So, for me, like, I really would like you to, feel your feelings. Just be present, be mindful whenever you're doing anything. Like when you're eating, just enjoy the food, enjoy the taste, enjoy the smell, just be present. I think that's one of the easiest thing we can do every day. And that can take you, gratitude and being thankful is one of the easiest step for us to leads to a healthy mind and body. So just be present and enjoy. The next time you're going to eat something, smell it, taste it, and close your eyes just for 1 minute, and you're going to see the difference.
That is
Be
so beautiful.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you so much. And I am so full of gratitude for you and Dania being on the podcast. Also, I'm grateful for Mutual Aid Network, who helped to sponsor this podcast. Mutual Aid Network is, oh gosh, such an amazing nonprofit that brings people all throughout the world together and brings their strengths together. So, something that we do is we will trade services because, especially in other countries, if they're not able to possibly pay for services, they can trade and give value in that way. And so we all are helping each other. So Mutual Aid Network helps to bring all these different entrepreneurs or people with skills. For me, I love hosting Zoom karaoke. So we'll be helping that nonprofit over in June do some Zoom karaoke, and we get to hear from people all over the world, different types of music and different types of singing. And so please join us for that if you're able to. And then also, I wanted to talk a little bit about Frequency. So, Frequence is the company that I have just loved and partnered with recently. And, I was going through a little bit of a funk because life happens and wasn't feeling so well. And just learning more about frequency and raising our vibration. Our bodies are all made of frequency. And when we consume things that remind our bodies, okay, this is the frequency that our body needs to be at or can be at, then it just raises like everything. So my aura has brightened. I have been able to get out of bed and feel like I have purpose and a spark again. And I just am really thankful. This morning I got a message from a woman who is going through, you know, that later age time of life where she's feeling a little bit toasty and a little bit moody. And she's just so thankful for nootropics and our trace minerals with fulvic acid to help detox her body and give her those minerals and just boost her brain. So please reach out to me if you would like more information. I'm on Instagram, Marilyn Lamer, and Facebook. And I would love to share more as I learn more about frequency infused nutrition. So thank you again. Mahalo, everyone. Happy Aloha Friday, and we'll see you next month.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Recording stopped.
Right. Oh, where did let me 10 seconds. I wanted to take a picture. Because I'm gonna post it on social media.
For sure. Thank you, Marilyn, for having me.
Oh my gosh, that was so good.
It was amazing.
I wanted to ask you so many more questions, and I'm like,